Programs are not necessarily those of WVON, Midway Broadcasting Corporation, or our participating sponsors.
Good evening. This is the Voice of the People with State Representative LaShawn K. Ford, and we have some very special guests in the studio today. But before we get started, I always like to promote businesses and people that are doing well in the community and helping the kids and the students out. And we know it's difficult during these most difficult economic times, but we have someone here named Benjamin William Caldwell that continues to struggle with his own fundraising mechanisms. And he's not receiving any money from any state, federal, or county, or city, just fundraising. Thank you for joining us. And he's going to be taking a group of kids on a trip, and he's here to tell everyone about that. And he's also here to give his information so that he can service more people. So, Benjamin, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Representative LaShawn K. Ford. First of all, I want to thank you very much for allowing me to be here with you. You know, I listen to you every Sunday night, and from my wife, myself, our son, and to the Each One Teach One Boxing Club in River Forest, Illinois, I really am thankful that you allow me some time on your show. I really appreciate it.
And so you're here to tell us about the program and what you plan to do with the students.
Yes, anybody that's listening, a lot of people know me. We're out here in River Forest, Illinois. Our boxing club is called the Each One Teach One Boxing Club. It was established in December of 2007. And what we do is we take kids who usually some would be hanging out on the street, and we teach them the discipline of the sport of boxing. And a lot of people that know about boxing is not just about what you do in the ring. It's about preparedness. It's about diet, hygiene, respecting others, and things like that. So, and that's what we do. Our first day, LaShawn, we had 3 kids. We have a total now of 39 kids. We have a traveling team, which will be traveling to Montreal, Canada, which is 15 boxers from that age range of the youngest is 8 to the oldest is 14. So our trip to Montreal, Canada is paid for. It's called the Brawl in Montreal. It's from this Friday until next Monday. So I just want to thank everybody that came by to support us, watch us practice, donated shirts, donated bottled waters, things like that. I am really thankful. That's how come I always let the WVON listeners know that, hey, you don't have to come and support us because I know you have your own families, you have other things you have to do. But when you come out just to watch the kids, those kids come to me and say, Coach, I am so happy that people came from the South Side just to watch me practice.
And so tell us how they could reach you, Benjamin Caldwell.
No problem. Anybody that's listening that knows me, you can always email us. Email us, please, at eotboxingclub@gmail.com. Once again, that's the letter E, the letter O, the letter T, the letter O, boxingclub@gmail.com. Starting September 10th, we will be training young ladies who has the permission of their mother or their father. If they want to come and join the boxing club, they can do so as long as it's okay with their parents. That is one rule that I did change. I didn't want to train young ladies. I thought it wasn't right. But my twin nieces named Natalie and Denise said, Uncle Benjamin, you're kind of a chauvinist if you're only going to train the guys, but you're not going to train the girls. So they are right. We're going to start training the girls on September the 10th, which is a Thursday.
All right. Thank you. And just give us your phone number before you leave.
Anybody that want to contact the Each One Teach One Boxing Club, number one, again, thank you so much for Sean Ford. Thank you so much. Reach us at the phone number 630-926-3070. Once again, that's area code 630-926-3070. Leave a message with your name and your phone number. We will contact you. And once again, LaShawn Ford, thank you so much for your time to let me come in here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Benjamin. And you are a certified electrician. Thank you very much for that.
Yes, Local 134, best union in Chicago.
All right. And tonight, the show will be about the Cook County Board President race. So call in, tell us who you are supporting and why. 773-591-1690. I'm your host, State Rep LaShawn Ford. Joining me tonight are two people I know and respect. Jeff Berkowitz from
host and producer of Public Affairs, airing every Monday night throughout the city of Chicago on Cable Channel 21, 8:30 p.m. Tomorrow night's show, Monday night, features LaShawn K. Ford, that's State Rep LaShawn K. Ford, in his capacity in running in the 7th Congressional District Democratic primary to replace our guest, Congressman Danny Davis, who we understand is vacating that seat to run for Cook County Board President.
And Congressman Danny K. Davis, should I say candidate for Cook County Board President? You don't mind me saying that, do you?
Well, let me tell you, if you've been to as many churches as I've been to today, and if you've been all the way to Northbrook, Illinois, and back out to Mr. G's Supper Club on the south side of Chicago, I'm running for something.
As Reverend Paul Jakes used to say, from the Soul Coast to the Gold Coast.
I'm running for something.
And so, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
What channel is Public Affairs on?
Channel 21 throughout the city of Chicago, also known as CAN TV, Chicago Access Network TV. They've got 5 stations. We appear weekly on Channel 21. We've been doing the show for over a decade. Some of our guests have gone on to, get some accomplishments. There was that skinny guy from the south side of Chicago.
With the funny name?
Funny name. Your mama, I guess they said, Barack Obama.
Right.
Yeah, he was on our show 5 times as a state senator starting in March of 2001, and then as a potential U.S. Senate candidate in 2002 twice, and then as a U.S. Senate candidate in 2003 and 2004. Congressman Davis has been on our show a few times as well. So we've had Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr., in fact, probably all of the congressmen from upstate Illinois and some of those folks from downstate. In the well-known 2004 U.S. Senate race, Democratic primary, when Barack Obama sort of made a name for himself, there were 7 candidates. We had everyone on except for Dan Hans. He was a little shy. We had all the 7 Republican candidates in their primary on as well. So we cover the field. On the 7th Congressional District, we're going to have 2 more candidates on tape next week, Annazette Collins and Darlena Williams-Barnett.
Oh, I didn't say their names.
You didn't say, hey, we're fair. You can handle that competition.
Yeah, you're right. If a person tunes into the Public Affairs, what should they expect, Jeff?
They should expect a grilling like they've never seen before on the issues. We don't fool around. You hear a lot of these other shows, and they do all that soft, fuzzy stuff. We get right down to it. Want to know what? Sean, we asked you. We asked you about the war, the Iraq war, the Afghanistan war, bailouts, stimulus, the economy, unemployment, cultural issues, abortion, gays, guns, God, abortion, whatever, leave out. So that's the way we make, I hope, politics interesting. Once you watch Public Affairs, it's like potato chips. You can't just watch it once. You're going to watch it every time.
I agree. Congressman Davis, you had your 10th annual, I think it was your 10th annual State of the District yesterday. Is that correct? Was it number 10?
That is correct. We host a lot of town hall meetings, and we have one each year that we call State of the District, and that's why we try and get people to attend from all parts of our district at the same time so that people can learn about the diversity of it and also can know that the problems that they may experience in River Forest are similar to the problems that people might experience in Bronzeville. And so we represent River Forest, the gentleman who just left, but we also represent Bronzeville. And so it has a tremendous amount of diversity.
I like that diversity too, Congressman. I got to ask you, how many people attended?
I would think there were about 1,000 people. There may have been slightly more than 1,000, but I guess the most that I saw at one time in the auditorium at Malcolm X Saturday morning, we had standing room only, so I think there were about 800-900 people there at that time. There were other people at what we call the resource fairs and some of the other activities that were taking place. But I was very pleased with the turnout. I mean, the most we've ever had has been around 3,000 people attend that event at one time. We didn't promote it as much as we sometimes do, but we had about 1,000 people yesterday, and we were very pleased about that.
And so now this could very well be your last State of the District as Congressman. You got anybody, I know someone perfect that could continue that legacy.
Well, let me tell you, if we don't have state of the district, we'll probably have state of the county.
All right.
Let me tell you, I believe strongly in people having the opportunity to interact with their elected officials, and I've been doing this ever since we organized the 29th Ward People's Assembly when I was an alderman, where we took a pledge that any issue of public policy that the assembly took a position on, if they debated it and discussed it, then we were bound to follow their position. And that's what we did when I was a member of the Chicago City Council. It was exciting. If a zoning issue came up, the people would get the first crack at it, not me. And if they said, we don't want this zoning change, then I would oppose it. If they said we want it, then I was for it. If people said they wanted residential parking on their block, after we would discuss it, and if they said we want it, then I wanted it.
So
if they didn't,
you
I
did.
didn't.
So do you have a favorite to continue your legacies when you leave Congress?
No, I think the people not only have a right, but have a responsibility to select their own representation. And I'm sure that, when the dust settles, after all is said and done, people will make the best and most effective choice. And that's how democracy is supposed to work.
Will you influence in any way?
I don't know what I'll do. It all depends on what the circumstances are. I'm a circumstance person, and some people don't understand that. I used to have a friend, Reverend Samuel Mason Carter, who was a philosophical giant, and Reverend Carter used to tell us that new occasions call for new truths, that new situations makes ancient remedies uncouth. And just like there are some people who believe that we ought to have free market systems that work, we are a capitalistic country, there are times when government need to intervene because market impact is not having the effect that some economists said that it would always have. And so I think there are times when you have to intervene and there are times when you don't.
So tonight we're talking about the Cook County Board President race. This race is so important and it's going to be highly watched. That's why I asked Jeff Berkowitz to be my guest co-host tonight. So Jeff, let's get on. Let's get the callers. Let's talk about it.
Well, Congressman Davis, some people are confused because you've said you're passing nominating petitions in both the 7th Congressional District for you to run for re-election for Congress in the 7th, as well as for you to run for President of the Cook County Board. So are you committed to running for Cook County Board President, and is just a backup if you change your mind? You've got the petitions ready to go in case you want to run for Congress from the 7th?
Well, Jeff, let me just tell you, I have probably spent more than $50,000-$60,000 on a race for president of the Cook County Board. I've opened 3 offices, actually 4 offices. I've engaged some people to work in terms of paying them to be staff people. I don't spend money willy-nilly.
So why are you passing petitions in the 7th Congressional
Well,
District?
I'm passing petitions so that I can help people to understand and help people to know that I'm not going to be a part of anything that would come close to being anything like the aftermath of the death of Harold Washington, when Tim Evans ran for mayor and Eugene Sawyer ran for mayor, and the African American community. Not that I'm not concerned about all communities, because I am, but I am seriously concerned about the African American community and its political potential and political empowerment. And I will not in any way, shape, form, or fashion participate in any activity or be engaged in any activity that will fracture the African American community and allow it to deny itself of a certain kind of representation. And so I will do what I need to do. I will do what I have to do. But I can tell you that I am running for president of the Cook County Board. We will have enough petitions. We haven't put any emphasis on circulating any petitions for Congress. But, you know, judges oftentimes will run for judge, and they might circulate different sets of petitions so that they can determine what's the best race for them to be in. If they find that something is going on that they don't like, or something is going on that they don't think speaks well for what they are attempting to do, then they've got some options. And that's what I am creating for myself.
But there are 4 African American candidates, as I see it right now, for the 7th. LaShawn Ford, right here, State Rep. LaShawn Ford, State Rep. Annazette Collins, Alderman Sharon Dixon, and Cook and Deputy Recorder of Deeds Darlena Williams Burnett. And then I don't think there's a white candidate who said he or she is running.
There are
although
2.
people say Jim Ascott,
Right.
Yes.
and Bob Fioretti, Alderman Bob Fioretti. People are speculating, but when I've checked with their office, they've just said no comment. So are you concerned as right now that one of those 2 whites I've mentioned, Ascott or Fioretti, might step in and win, and that somehow the seat belongs to the African Americans who are running,
Well,
or the
I don't-
African American electorate?
I don't know that I would say that a seat belongs to any community, but the seat is a seat that has had voting rights protection. That is, in terms of the way the district was drawn and the kind of consideration that was given. I mean, all of us know the history of America. And while I don't get bogged down with history, I think that those who don't know their history oftentimes will repeat it and repeat it to their detriment. You see, actually, there were about 20 African Americans who were members of the United States House of Representatives prior to 1900. The last guy was actually put out right around that time. Then we went another 30 years where there was no African American in the United States House of Representatives or in the United States Senate. We had 2 African Americans, Blanche K. Bruce and, I'm getting old, I'll think of his name in a minute, from the state of Mississippi. And then there wasn't another black senator until Ed Brooke became the senator from Massachusetts.
But we've
in
come a long
1950.
way. We've come a long way. Now we've got a president of the United States who's African American. I mean, so now we all revere what Dr. Martin Luther King said: judge people by the content of their character, not the color of
But
their
we
skin.
ain't quite got there yet.
Not at all.
We've
But
come
aren't
a long
Are you
way.
suggesting people judge people in the 7th Congressional District by the color of their skin? as
Some
opposed to
people do and some people don't.
Well, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to
Some
do that?
people judge people all over the world by different things and by different factors. If one is to say that race and ethnicity is not as much a part of the factor that individuals use to select candidates and vote for people, I would agree with that wholeheartedly, 100%.
Before we take a call, I just want to put this on the table before we take Jim. He's been holding for a little while. Can there be 4 blacks in the race for Cook County Board President, including Todd Strozier, and the seat goes to none of the 4 blacks? Hey, Jim, thanks for joining the Voice of the People with State Representative LaShawn Ford, Jeff Berkowitz, and Congressman Danny K. Davis. Jeff, you with us? Jim, you with us? Let me see. Okay, Jim. Okay, until Jim is connected, Congressman
You said,
Davis.
can there be?
Can there be? And
Well, I don't think there will be. I mean, there could be, just as I don't think all of the individuals whose names have just been expressed will be running for Congress in the 7th Congressional District either. You see, the real deal is that you don't file nominating petitions until October. Up until then, people are just sort of having conversation. Many of them talking about running are not going to run. We know that. I mean, we're not novices at this business, and so many of the people who say they're going to run for Congress, they're not going to bid more run than the man in the moon.
What about for Cook County Board President? You got President Stroger, you got Alderman Preckwinkle, Clerk Dorothy Brown, and yourself. And then you've got the President of Metropolitan Water District, Water Reclamation District, Terry O'Brien. So there's 4 African Americans, 1 white. Are you saying you don't think all of those 5 are going to run?
I don't.
Which ones? Who won't run?
Well, I don't want to necessarily say who. There are some people who know that they don't have much chance of winning.
Who would that
and so
be?
I don't necessarily
Inquiring
want
minds
to say
want to
that.
know here. You know.
But
Preckwinkle,
what I'm telling you is I guarantee you that all of the individuals who say that they are running will not be running when it comes time to file nominating petitions and get certified to be on the ballot as candidates.
Well, you know Preckwinkle will be, right? You know that.
Well, I don't know that.
Why wouldn't she? She's an alderman. She's not going to give up any office to run.
Well,
she's raised $400,000. That's not bad.
Well, she's put together a composite amount of money that equals about $400,000.
Yeah.
I mean,
you got to respect that.
We respect that. And it came from different places, different times, and all of that.
She was there. Wasn't she there as an alderman when you were there? Was she? Some of that time over.
No.
Nope. It was okay. Because
Well, she came part of that time. She was because she defeated Tim Evans after the.
On her 3rd try.
Yeah.
So you know her. She knows you.
Oh, I don't. Oh, I know her.
You respect her.
Well, I do indeed.
let us go to Jim. Jim,
But
you've
I
been
respect
holding.
all of them.
Jim. Selena, we can't seem to get Jim. We're going to go to Tommy. Tommy from the South Side. Thanks for joining the Voice of the People with State Rep LaShawn Ford.
Hello, Representative Ford and Congressman Dave.
Okay, how are you doing?
And we lost him. David from the South Side. Thanks for joining the Voice of the People with State Rep LaShawn Ford.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Okay.
Congressman Davis, I am a professional political objector. I scrutinize as a notary, which I am, and I'm wondering if you can use me in your organization. And I helped in the Mayor Washington campaign, and I ran for alderman for myself in the 15th Ward. If you can use my experience and my know-how, and as a notary public, I would call and leave my number at your office. And if you can use me in your organization, just give me a call back.
All right, and I certainly can, and I thank you so much for calling and offering that kind of service and assistance. Please give us a call, and I will get back to you.
Thank you very kindly.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And we have Jim. I think we have Jim now from South Elgin. Okay.
How you guys doing?
All right.
Okay,
Jim.
Jim, how are you?
Finally connecting.
How are you doing?
Great show. You know, this is one of my favorite political topics is Cook County politics. This is why I became interested in politics, because when I came to buy my office building in the fringes of Cook County, you see the taxes go up like crazy, and there's no reason for it compared to the neighboring counties. You kind of wonder, where does the money go? So, Mr. Davis, I would suggest, if you want to make your candidacy a solid, platform, you should propose that the commercial property taxes be lowered to the same rate that the commercial, for the residential, like they do in DuPage and Kane and Indiana, because the commercial tax rates drive businesses away, and people don't want to put their businesses in Cook County. Because I can go across the street, for example, and save 50 or 80% of the taxes.
Well, let me just tell you what I will do about taxes. I will scrutinize very carefully the Cook County budget. I will try and ferret out every ounce of waste and inefficiency that we can possibly find. I also will make use of my vast experiences to try and find additional monies, especially from the federal government and especially from philanthropic organizations that fund certain kinds of health activity. And if we can find additional money and ferret out the waste and inefficiencies, then it may very well be possible to abate some of the taxes that currently exist in Cook County. But I will also tell you that Cook County is very different from the other counties that you just mentioned. There are far more poor people and low-income people and sick people in Cook County than they are in the other counties that you mentioned. And so I'm not sure that you can have the same level of expenditure, nor am I sure that you can use all of the same measures to finance the government.
Well, see, with all due respect, sir, there's a principle called growth and creating more business and creating an economic climate that will create the jobs and the infrastructure that would pay for these things without looking for some big government payout, because it never comes. If you create an economy that feeds itself, you don't need the government. You see, and if Cook County did things the way other people, other places do, they would do what they do and not have the problems Cook County has. You see,
well,
it's called conservative governance versus just let the government handle everything, and that's not a popular idea in Cook County. But I'm just a small business guy, and believe me, I've seen it work. I've seen people, friends of mine don't come to Cook County to set up a business which generates jobs to allow people to then work and do things better. I mean, for example, look at the Walmart problem. Chatham may get a Walmart store, which people there want, but yet who stands in the way of having a business come to Chicago? And a few years ago, Walmart went to Evergreen Park, and so that town is getting $1 million or $2 per year in sales tax revenue, and Chicago loses out.
Okay. But I think
that creates a problem.
But I think the people will decide whether or not they want Walmart to come, and all that they really have to do is say, yes, we want Walmart, and Walmart will be there. And that is provide the zoning that is necessary for the store to be built.
But that's not working.
To do business.
The so-called alderman courtesy isn't working there because Alderman Brookins wants that, and the other aldermen are not letting him put that store in his ward.
Well, I've never agreed with the alderman courtesy deal in the first place.
Well, what if the people in Alderman Brookins' ward wants that? You said you want to do what the people want.
Then
they want that, he wants that, and people all around him are saying, no, we won't let you put that in your ward.
But you're saying, what if they want it? Nobody have determined. I don't know that there have been any surveys. I don't know that the people have said.
I think so. I think the surveys have shown. Yeah, I think so. And I think they show overwhelmingly that's what those folks want there.
Well, then I suspect that Alderman Brookins will ultimately prevail in all likelihood.
He's being blocked by the other folks.
Well,
Ed Burke's a pretty powerful guy on that finance committee.
He has been blocked.
Alderman Burke.
He has been blocked, but then why is it that they would vote for a Walmart to be constructed in the 37th Ward on the west side of Chicago? And what's the difference?
Was that Emma Witt's?
That is Emma Mitt's ward.
Well, she's got sometimes more finesse. It takes a little finesse to work that city council, right?
Oh, so you're saying that helps. So experience and finesse helps. But
well, you would know. You were there 11 years.
The operation of government.
Thank you, Jim, for calling.
Thank you.
All right. So you brought it up. You said, Jim talked about Walmart, and Jeff, you were saying that we had Tony Pertwinkle, who's got nothing to lose. She's an alderman already.
Right.
Clerk Dorothy Brown has nothing to lose.
She's a clerk. She'll be a clerk anyway.
Who else is in that race?
And, of course, Todd Stroger's got
nothing to
lose because he's the president, and if he loses, he'll no longer be president. If he resigns, he'll no longer
Are you suggesting that people run for office because they have nothing to lose?
I'm suggesting many people don't run for office when they have an office to lose. You know that. In fact, some people are wondering about you, LaShawn, because they say you may not do it in the 7th because you'd be giving up your state rep office.
That's right.
Are you committed to doing that? Are you not circulating petitions just in case, for the state rep office?
Yeah, I'm just, you got to always do what's right.
So you're not going to answer that question?
And take care.
You're not answering that question.
Make sure you're ready for whatever comes your way.
All right.
But, we do have, how many people in that race that's running with nothing to lose?
For Cook County Board President?
Right.
We got 5. We've got 4 African American candidates, and we've got the president of the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District, Terry O'Brien. So none of those people has to give up an office in order to run. I'm not sure why the congressman's so confident that they won't all be there come filing day.
I tell you, I'd certainly hate to think that somebody became president of the Cook County Board because they had nothing to lose.
No, but they'll tell you.
And
They'll,
that's
you know,
why
they'll-
they were elected.
No, they'll tell you.
I'm-
They'll
I'm-
tell you they're there because they've got a platform. All of those people say they've got ideas. They want to do what's best for the county and for the people. I'm just saying they wouldn't say. I'm just saying they don't have an office to lose.
But I think the people will say what they think. Every poll that I've heard of, seen, or know anything about suggests that an overwhelming number of the people who've been polled suggested that they'd like to see Danny Davis be the president.
Is that right?
Of the Cook County Board.
You got that poll in your pocket?
sure
So
do.
who are you voting for? WVON
do.
listeners, call in
I
591-1690.
sure do.
Can I
The
see
voice
that
of the
poll?
people.
Absolutely.
With State Representative LaShawn Ford, Congressman Davis, candidate for Cook County Board President, and Jeff Berkowitz, the host of Public Affairs. And we're going to take a call of Al. Al?
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Fine.
I just got 2 questions, and they're both for Alderman Davis. Good evening to you, sir.
You know, I haven't been an alderman in 15 years.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well done.
Well, that's quite all right.
My question to you is 2 questions to you. The first one is, how come you guys didn't take Todd Stroger to the side and train him on the office that he was getting ready to take place because he had inherited from his father? Because I believe that the guys just let him get just thrown to the wolves, and that's why every now and then you turn around, he's getting ate up. I think you guys should have pulled him to the side as being the seniors and said, hey, man, this is how you're supposed to do things, blah, blah, blah. And my second question is, when they gave you the raise that you were getting and they asked, were you going to give you a raise back, how come you didn't give that raise back knowing that the city of Chicago was in a financial trouble? Why'd you take the raise? You guys already making
He's not an alderman. He's the congressman.
Well, okay. Didn't he get a raise, too?
No, he's the congressman. He didn't.
Didn't they get a raise? They got a raise somewhere
They got a
along the way.
raise, too.
Well, they get paid.
Yeah.
Well,
They
we
get
don't.
He
paid.
got a raise.
We don't want him to mix up Congressman Davis with the alderman
No,
with the
but,
city.
but
though.
his question is, why doesn't the
But my
congressman
question-
give
I
back
don't-
his raise?
But I don't have any problem with the question of a raise. I think that members of Congress maintain 2 residences. They live in 2 places. They pay 2 light bills, 2 gas bills.
Why would you need a raise, sir? You're already making enough money as it is. And we're already going through a financial thing with.
Sounds like you're kind of confused. Nobody is getting a raise. We're talking about the raises that have already been provided.
I think we lost him. Let's go to James. James, thanks for calling. Thanks for joining the Voice of the People with State Rep LaShawn Ford. Go ahead, James.
Well, just going to give my vote for Danny K. Davis. I think Danny Davis is a giant in the African American community. He always reminds me of former Mayor Harold Washington. I think he would be a great Cook County Board President, and I think he'll have the vote if that's what he decides to do. I think Danny Davis would be an excellent Cook County Board President. My vote to be for Danny K. Davis.
All right, you hear that, listeners? We have callers right now on this show. Congressman Davis is leading the polls. He's the winner right now on the Voice of the People. If the election was held right now, Congressman Davis wins.
Well, I want to thank the gentleman for his comments, Representative Ford. I appreciate what he said, and I appreciate the kind of support that people have given me throughout my public career, and I thank you very much, sir.
Congressman Davis, if you were president of the Cook County Board now, would you be promoting what 14 of the board members have said they want, which is to repeal half of that 1 cent increase in the sales tax? Or might you go further and promote the repeal of the entire 1 cent of the sales tax?
Well, you see, it's pretty difficult to answer hypothetical questions, in terms of if I was president. Because if I was president, there are a lot of other things that I'd also be doing. And those other things might demonstrate whether or not the increase was needed. It would demonstrate whether or not people had the confidence and faith in their officials to be doing the right thing. And so it's pretty difficult to say what you would do in a hypothetical situation unless you can also say what all of the other things are that you may have been doing that would have perhaps not necessitated the need. I'm saying they may have had a need, but if I had been president, maybe the need would not have existed because I would have been doing some other things as well.
But don't you think the voters are entitled to know if those other things didn't change, if the only thing that changed was you were president, aren't they entitled to know whether you'd like to see the repeal of that increase of the sales tax by 1 cent on a
Well,
dollar?
you know, I think the voters want to know that, first of all, you have honest government, that you are telling them the truth about what it is that you are doing with their money, that you're telling them the truth about what it is that they need. And then you have to be able to sell and convince them that you're doing the right thing. I'm not sure that there are enough public defenders in the county of Cook to take care of the needs of all the individuals who go through our criminal justice system, and whether or not they get the kind of representation that they ought to have, or whether or not the public defenders are not so overworked that they really can't give all of their clients all of the assistance that they ought to have and should have. And so you can't answer questions. I can't answer questions like that and feel that I'm doing justice to them, because you have to be in a position to really analyze what is going on, what has taken place. And so I know that some of my opponents have said, oh, I just go and wipe this tax out.
I think you do well not to make statements like that, because we see President Barack Obama is having some of that trouble right now, that he said that he could easily take care of some of these problems, or he'll come in and bring change, and he finds that it's not as easy as he thought it would be. Or when he got the books, he saw that things were different than it appeared when he was on the outside looking in.
But he also said on Public Affairs on my show, when he was running in 2003 to differentiate himself from the other Democrats running in that primary, he said he spoke out clearly on the war in October of 2002, and then November of 2002 on my show. He said unequivocally it was the wrong thing to do. He would have not voted to give the president authority to take military action. He said the Democrats who were running against him, they said they had concerns. He said, we all got concerns. The question is, what would you have done, and did you speak out? And he said, I remember very well, then U.S. Senate candidate Obama said, we can have somebody representing this state of Illinois as a U.S. Senator who is against the war, as he is, or for the war. He said, but what we absolutely can't have is somebody representing Illinois as a U.S. Senator who waffles. That was Obama's word. We can't have somebody who waffles. Obama would say, we want to know what Congressman Davis's position is going to be on the tax, because
I'm not so sure. Let me tell you.
You're waffling.
Let me tell you, I was the master of ceremony when Obama announced that he was running for the United States Senate. I was the guy who was standing there saying, and now, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the next United States Senator from the state of Illinois.
And the voice of God was talking.
So I'm pretty clear.
You know, it'll sound good if you say, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the next Congressman.
Well, but let us take a call at Congressman.
LaShawn's working hard to get that endorsement tonight. He's not letting you out of the studio. He's got a lock on that door.
Hey, Linda, thanks for calling. You're calling to give your vote for Congressman Davis for the Cook County.
I most certainly am. And Congressman Davis, you know who I am. I'm the late Sylvia Woods' niece.
Oh, my goodness, I do.
I know you do. And, you know, I voted for you when you ran against Leroy Cross, and that was a special election. And I went back out and I voted for you again. And I have voted for you consistently since then. But now I know that I could vote for you for the county board. And, LaShawn, when I was living on the west side, I voted for you also. I'm on the south side now in Howard Brookins Ward. But Danny K. Davis, when you said that you were running, I was very excited, and I hope that you do run, and I would like to get a poster and put it in my window. And as you know, I've aged like we all have, but I'm still a worker, and I would be glad to work for you.
Well, thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. And please, if you would give us a call, I'll make sure that I get that poster to you, so if I have to bring it myself.
Caller, since you said you live in Alderman Brookins' ward, I'm really interested to know, would you like to see a Walmart in that ward?
Would I like to see what?
A Walmart? Would you like to
Well,
have an
you know,
option?
Walmart doesn't affect me one way or another because I don't shop at Walmart, because it's a lot of people there, and they sell a lot of things in bulk, and I'm a single person. But for the people that do want a Walmart, I support that. I think that the people should get what they ask for, and I think that Howard Brookins is behind it, and it just goes to show you that he is listening to his constituents, which a lot of aldermen don't do.
Congressman, there's our survey.
All
One
right.
for one.
Well, not only that, Congressman Davis is leading the poll here tonight. He's winning the race in the Cook County Board President. Now, Congressman, I just have another question for you. Not the last one, but just another one. Many people, as I walk the neighborhoods and collect petitions for my race, they say, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to run for Congress? Well, that's one question. But you have such a great job being the U.S. Congressman during one of the most blessed times with President Barack Obama. From Chicago, you know him personally. You have a Democratic Congress. And you're on the Ways and Means is what they're saying. And you're willing to give up all of that to come back to the county.
Guess what, LaShawn? It really isn't about me at all. And I'm always amazed, as a matter of fact, when people approach me in terms of why do you do certain things. When I first ran for public office, the first thing that I did was took a $22,000 a year cut in pay. When I became an alderman, the year before. Public office is almost like a sacred responsibility. It's not a matter of what's good for you or what's good for me. It's a matter of how can you most effectively make use of yourself for the good of the whole, for the good of the people. How can you advance the causes of those who need representation and don't have it? How can you help make sure that people who sit in that emergency room over at the county hospital will see a doctor as soon as it is humanly possible for them to do so? How do you get the people off the floor at the county jail who might be out there and don't have a bed or a cot to sleep on? How can you make sure that while they're being detained that they get decent food and what they really need? And so it's never been about me. I mean, I enjoy what I do. I like it. I love it. I work hard. I work 13, 14, 15, 16 hours a day. Been doing it for more than 30 years in terms of doing the kind of work that I do even before I got elected. I have some notions of what I think the world ought to be like. And I see public office as a way of advancing those thoughts. And so that's why I run, and that's why I'm running for president of the county board, because I think that I can do more to advance the causes of Cook County as a member of the county board and as president than I can as a member of Congress.
Congressman, what is your beef with President Todd Stroger? He's been there 2.5 years. When you say you think you could do more, I guess you mean you think you could do more than he's been doing.
Not really. I don't have any beef with Todd Stroger at all.
Well, if you run, you're in and he's out. So
but that's no beef with him. I have a responsibility to do the most that I can for the people of Cook County. That has nothing to do with Todd Stroger at all.
You mean you would run no matter how well you thought he was doing?
I wish I wouldn't run if I thought he could win. I wouldn't run if I thought he could beat me.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. I don't have any concerns about, hey, I don't like Todd Stroger. I do like Todd Stroger.
Well, do you think but is there something he's been doing for the last 2.5 years that you would do differently?
Yes.
What would that be?
My approach to managing the board would be different than his. I mean, there are some people who interact with people one way. There are other people who interact with people another way. People seem to forget that there are 17 commissioners who really make up the board of directors, if you will, of county government. And so the president doesn't just run the show. The president has to get consensus from at least 9 of those for whatever it is that he or she wants to do. And I just know some things about human relations. I have human relations skills. I know how to influence and interact with people. I've done it for many years. I've taught other people how to do it. And I think I'd do a better job of that than President Stroger.
We have to go to caller Dr. Thomas from the South Side. Thanks for joining us. You're on the air with State Rep LaShawn Ford, Jeff Berkowitz, and Congressman Davis.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Representative Ford. This is Dr. Dorothy Thomas, and I'm calling, too, just to lend my support, and, of course, would vote for the congressman for the Cook County Board President. But I also want to say that in the 7th Congressional, we view Congressman Davis as the people's congressman. So as a result of that, I think he would be the people's Cook president, and that is what we need in times like these. Not only does the congressman have the information, the fortitude, the strength, the courage to tackle these types of situations in this particular political climate, but also in this economic climate. And I think he is the man for the hour. I also think that he represents the people of the 7th Congressional, but he will be wonderful in representing the people of Cook, because keep in mind, the congressman is a champion for issues that nobody, and I will say that again, nobody would stand on the forefront or cutting edge to get those issues to the top. So I think the congressman would do and serve this state again well and in that particular role. So, Congressman, you have my support, and I hope that those in the recovering community listening to my voice will stand behind you as well. And thank you so much.
All
Thank
right.
you, and I appreciate it.
We got another caller, Marie, from the South Side.
Yes, I would like to know. I don't know Congressman Dawson. I want to say good evening to all of you.
Yes.
But I don't know him that well. But I don't know of anything that he's done. What is he? Could he name some of the things that he's done to make the state of Illinois and the Cook County and all the other stuff livable? What has he done?
Where do you live?
Huh?
Where do you live? You live in what ward? Where
do I live?
Yes.
On the South Side.
How far south?
I can't hear you.
How far south do you live?
7600.
Oh, Congressman is all.
Well, that's all right.
I can't hear you.
Well, I'll just tell you very quickly. You know where Kennedy King College is?
Yeah.
I just got them $1.5 million.
I went there. See what?
Okay. Do you know where Olive Harvey
was born
College?
in Chicago.
Well, I'm saying.
So I know where all of them are.
Do you know where Olive Harvey is?
Yes, I do.
Just got them $500,000.
Huh?
Just got them $500,000.
Uh-huh. Why isn't it announced, or why don't a lot of people know about it?
Well, you know,
you
have to
I
read.
don't know of anybody that knows about that. You got them $500,000.
No, darling, you have to read the
Olive
newspapers. You have to watch television. You
have
to read the newspapers. You have to watch television. You have to avail yourself of information. It was announced. It was in the newspapers. It was on television. It was on radio. People do know about it. Thousands of people know about it All of the people at these colleges and universities know about it. Lots of other people who are not at those know about it. And so, yes, people do know about it. You just have to read the papers and watch the news, and you'll know about those kind of things.
What would you do if you're a Cook County Board President? You think you could get more money from the federal government?
I do.
And how would you go about doing that?
Well, there are a lot of ways to get money.
Call me if I'm the congressman. That's one way.
That's one way.
You want to get earmarks? You believe in earmarks?
There are earmarks, but there's money that is not earmarks. Yeah. Earmarks are just a little piece of money that the members of a legislative body set aside, and they say, we are going to decide where this money goes, as opposed to having it flow through the coded agencies.
So you believe in earmarks?
So I do believe in earmarks.
You don't think they're wasteful? You don't think they're corrupt? You don't think they're stuck in there in the middle of the night when nobody's looking?
Well, I tell you, if you ask Rush Presbyterian St. Luke's if the earmarks that I got for them are wasted, if you ask the University of Illinois whether they think the earmarks I've gotten for them are wasted, if you think, you ask some of the little not-for-profit organizations who never had a dime from anywhere in their life until I got them some earmarks, if they think they're wasted, the earmarks that I get are not wasted.
But you would concede there are earmarks that are wasteful.
Oh, without a
Congressman
doubt.
Murtha gets a lot of earmarks for his district that may not be beneficial to the United States as a whole.
But I'm not Congressman Murtha, and I have not been in Congress 45 years.
And if you were, though, then those earmarks would be a problem, you think?
So
yeah.
If I were, then I'd probably be able to get more earmarks to do the kind of things that I want to do. As a matter of fact, I've generally voted against some of those bills, that where money went to defense and all those kind of things.
What about as a congressman, can you do much to improve the quality of K through 12 elementary and secondary education?
You can.
Can you do that by giving people who live in your district and are going to schools that aren't performing in the city of Chicago?
It's not really just.
Could you give them some school choice so they could do what Reverend Jackson did, send their kids to the school of their choice?
Well, if you're talking about
where Bill Clinton
did
send his kid to the school,
no.
Yeah.
If you're asking if I'm in favor of vouchers and am I in favor of desecrating public education, then the answer is no. I am not in favor of diminishing or diluting public education.
Even if we would give those kids a better education,
you
the
may
kids
give,
in the public schools, you'd help them. You might not help the public school, but you'd help those kids.
No, you may help 50. You may
help
help
100. You could help them all.
But
Every
you
one
may
of them.
have 100,000.
You could help 200,000.
200,000.
You could help 400,000.
Well, if we're debating school vouchers, that's one question.
That's an important one.
Well, it's important where you help some kids in some schools.
If kids don't want to leave, they don't leave the school.
Well, let me tell you what
everybody
I'm in
wants to
favor
leave
of.
goes. The other ones stay there. How's anybody?
Well, let me just tell you what I'm in favor of in relationship to education. I think that every school should be a top flight school. And I think that we can make every school a top flight school
if LaShawn Ford is
congressman. Boards of education, if teachers and principals and people who actually run the schools employ the principles and techniques that are needed. For example, I am firmly convinced that the best way to raise achievement levels, especially in inner city, low-income communities, is to activate the community to the extent that people decide that education is so important to them that everybody is engaged in it. Doesn't take a whole lot of money sometimes to do that.
But we're spending a whole lot. We're spending $15,000.
But we're not spending it on that.
No, we're spending $15,000 per kid per year in the Chicago public schools.
We are not spending it on organizing the communities to help people understand that education is so valuable. I mean, I went to a one-room school.
Okay, but give that money to the parents and let them choose. The schools will get better. There'll be competition, innovation.
Take that money and help the parents improve the schools in their neighborhoods and communities where they are. Make education the priority that it ought to be.
Competition.
And I guarantee you that you'll see some improvement in achievement.
So Congressman Davis said he's going to possibly not ride on Air Force One anymore, and he's going to not go to the White House. anymore. He's going to come back and be
Not
with the
until
people.
Barack invites me to ride.
That's
I mean,
right.
you
As
don't
the
have to be a member of Congress to
But
ride
you
on
are-
Air
but
Force
Can
One.
you get me on Air Force One? Can you do that?
You're on it
Congressman?
though.
I probably
I
could.
think
All
it's
right.
great that you're not thinking about yourself. How could someone?
I
join
rode on
your-
Air Force One with President Bush.
Right. He's giving it all up to come back to the county and maybe
Excuse
take
me,
the
but
train.
He supported your ex-offender program, President
He
Bush.
sure did.
He
He
got that
signed
law.
it.
He signed it.
He signed it.
We're running out of time. I need to know how they could help you, how the listeners could call you to help join you and help your campaign.
Well, we've got 4 campaign offices
We got
that
30
we have
seconds.
established. 3333 West Arthington Street, 5641 West Division, 65th in Cottage Grove, and got one out in the South Suburban community where I can't think of the address. They can just call us and come on by and get engaged and get involved.
Thank you, Congressman Davis. Jeff?
Sean, and your listeners can, throughout the city of Chicago, can watch Public Affairs every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Cable Channel 21. And if they want it, they can watch it on youtube.com/user/Public Affairs TV. Watch all those programs there.
I want to thank Selena, and we also have to let you know that there will be a Parent Resource Day put on by State Representative LaShawn Ford in the Chicago Public Schools. We will have job opportunities, and we will have community